Welcome to another episode on our channel. This is the last episode, I think, that we'll have on stands. I think we got it down to as simplistic and as easy as we possibly can manage at a cost that's probably very affordable compared to stand after stand after stand that you might pay for on eBay or wherever. Unless you go to Monkey Depot, then you're spending less. But it's, that little rounded, stand made out of metal. So anyway, we'll pause. I'll show you a larger stand because the figures take up more space. But then I'll show you the more economical stand because we use the same process on the larger stand, but on the economical one, I think it has its own charm because of a couple things, but we'll get there in a second. So we'll be right back. This is our third stand using the two Death Keepers, and it is a little wider than the other two stands that we used with Civil War soldiers and the Revolutionary War soldiers. But I think it actually could stand to be a little longer because he's a little too removed in the background. I think he needs to be a little bit more visible. So adding a couple more inches wouldn't actually harm these two guys on this particular stand. The thing you might not be able to tell is it's darker. We let the stain on longer, so it's darker. So you can, depending on how long you want to leave the stain on, you can make it darker. If you want to restain it and, again, you can make it darker if you want it to be darker. But it still has the strips here to make the plywood look nice. And it's really uniform with the look. Now, I did make a brain. Here it is. You might not be able to see it too well, but when my husband saw it, he immediately recognized it was a brain. And this is symbolic of these two Death Keepers fighting for the soul of a person. I put a stick I found some time ago in the abandoned lot next door, our neighbor's lot, and it will actually hold the brain if you position it just right. So he's fighting for your soul. This guy is just fighting you and wanting you to go down. So he's got quite a wingspan. That's why there is a need for a much longer stand. And I think we will experiment with trying to make a longer stand. But we'll pause now because we did come up with a couple ideas to try to minimize the cost that it would take to make a stand yourself. So we'll be right back. We are back, and this is the cheapest stand we can make. Again, it's 7.5 inches to accommodate two figures. I have two Musketeers. I wish I had a third Musketeer, but I only have two. So two go on here because they go together. The difference between this stand and the other stands we've shown you is that the dowel is square this time. So it's like a 1/2 inch dowel that is basically square, right? So out of this, you can probably get four sections. So, and you can buy a bunch of these and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. The wood, you can, get a certain size, cut it to length, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. The other thing we did is instead of like drilling a hole to sink this part, this part, I'll call this the holder instead of the stand. This is the stand, this is the holder. So instead of drilling into the wood to sink this in, what we did instead was we used a screw to come up from the bottom after pre-drilling it and connecting the wood that way with the screw. And then at the top, what we did is we put a nail into it, like about 1/2 inch up. So here, 1/2 inch up. And then what I did is I sewed together a piece of elastic, black elastic. You can get a bunch of this on a roll. You know, I had a ton of this stuff. So all you do is just get a piece. Let me roll it up for a second. There's a ton of this stuff. But you just get a small piece like this and you sew it together into a circle. Okay. So that it fits around the waist and links around the nail or whatever you use. The one good thing about a nail is that it has a head, and so the elastic's not going to slip over the head as long as the head is wide enough. We used, I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. A wall hanging and nail. So it even has a larger head, and it's gold. So it kind of looks a little fancier. I don't know. You don't need that though. A nail will work fine. You pre-drill it into the wood so it doesn't break the wood, and boom, it's in there. You slip the elastic around the feet of the guy, bring it on up, put it where you want it to. You have enough leeway to kind of make an adjustment with the 1/2-inch nail space there. And then once you got it in the place that you want, they're going to stay on there. Let me move this more out of the way. But they are on there. So this does hold things in place pretty darn well. So we'll pause. I'll take the elastic off and put it back on so you can see. And hopefully maybe you can come up with even some cheaper ideas on how to make stands. But I think this works for us. So we'll be right back. So we have them on the turn tray. Let's go around and see them from all angles. This just happens to be a wall hanging nail that's kind of ornate. Kind of matches the sword color, so that we would use it here. There you go. So let me show you how I do this. So I have some elastic that is sewn together into a nice circle. Right. I use this stuff, which lasts forever. Doesn't cost much. I've had it, like I said, forever. I've been using it constantly. Just sew it into a circle. It will fit around the figure about the waist, and then it will be put around this nail here, and the head will prevent it from slipping off. So all I'm going to do is take my body. I'm going to slip this on over his feet. That seems to be the best way to put it on. Put it over his feet, get it over his boots. I think I'm gonna and it, elastic is gonna stretch. So I am gonna put it around his sword. Looks like his little sword fell out, or his hand knife or whatever it is matching came off. So I'm gonna put it around his sword, work it around the sword. Now the hard part is going to get it under the shirt. It's not really that hard, but just want it to not be visible as much as possible. Let me put this in his back in his belt. Okay. There we go. So it's on there now. And all I'm going to do is put him next to this piece of wood and affix the elastic and twist it once to give it a little more secure fitting. I could have sewn it tighter, but then it's harder to get up over the body. Better to twist it here, I think. So he's on there now. Put his hat back on. Yep. He's good. Now I can just position him how I want him, and then we have it. So piece of wood, stripping, stained to square shaped, wooden dowels screwed in. Drill it out a bit first so you don't splinter any wood. Screw it in, put a nail in the top, drill into that first so you don't strip that, split the wood again. Put a nail in it, leave about a 1/2 inch gap, take some elastic, make it into a round piece, fit it up over the feet, put it on the nail, and you're good to go. Again, they are on there. They're not going to go any place. And the elastic's not going to harm the body. If you decided to put it against the skin of the body, it's not going to harm the body. It certainly isn't going to harm the clothes. And if you position in the right place, it won't be visible. I just happen to have black. And it just works so well with black outfits. So, but if you put it under a shirt or what have you, it's not going to show. So anyway, that's our solution to making a stand that hopefully is as easy to make as possible and affordable. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.